Hi my lovelies, I hope you are all well. My gosh, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. But hello, welcome to Gods and Charms channel. I am Claire, if this is your first video. Today we're going to do a tarot card deck review. So if you'd like to be notified of when I do upload videos, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Leave me a comment down below. And do feel free to come over and join my closed Facebook group. The link will be in the drop down underneath the video, where I am live pretty much weekly. We just had our new moon live video over in the group there, so you can come and join me where I'm live all the time and I'm in the group every day, and I just do YouTube when I can in between doing orders, teaching online, and with our beautiful Facebook community. So today we're going to be doing a review of the Light Seers Tarot. How gorgeous is this box, by the way? I mean, look at that. It's a really lovely, sturdy, you know I like a sturdy box if you've watched any of my other reviews. So this is by Chris Ann, and it is a 78 card deck with guidebook, of course. So let's take this out and have a look. I put them all in order for you all. This is printed by Hayhouse. I like Hayhouse because they always do really sturdy boxes, which is nice. This actually has a little quote and some writing inside the lid, and I think all these little extra touches, they just make it nice. We're in a time where we're kind of inundated with tarot decks, oracle cards, and you really have to weed all through to find something that's new or going to stand out from the rest. And you want to have an experience when you get that deck in the post as well. You don't want to be disappointed and have one of those horrible thin cardboard boxes that's all got crushed up. This is going to be safe in the post, and then little touches like this just make it even more special. So when you open it up, your book is on top. Let's take that out of there. How many pages is this book before we get into this? It's a 184 page book, so it's a nice thick small book that you can travel with if you're someone that's new to tarot. So this is obviously a tarot deck, so it's got all of your traditional tarot cards that you would expect in here. This is what the back design of the tarot cards looks like, which I think is very nice. And the cardstock is really lovely cardstock. Again, something that I really like about Hayhouse is their cardstock, because there's enough bend that you can shuffle them, but they're not flimsy, almost papery cardstock where the edges are going to get scuffed up. I mean, I've used these quite a bit now, and if we take a look at the edges, you can see, unlike a deck, like for example when I reviewed the Moon deck, these are not scuffed up. So they have this back, which is kind of full of geometric shapes. If you take a look in the middle, you will see. Let me put that up nice and close for you so you can see there. Beautiful. But a nice simple back, so nothing too much. But that's kind of where the simplicity ends with this deck. So let's take a look. Now, on the cards, you'll see it says what the card is. So this is the King of Pentacles. Let's have a look. Like so. Now these are beautifully vibrant, colourful cards. I just love them. Look at this one. The Queen of Pentacles. The Knight. I mean, just wonderful. They're really, really, really colourful. If you want a bright and a vibrant deck, this is going to be great for you. And I do like as well, if you're a beginner, Sometimes it can be very confusing with card decks when they don't put any writing on them and you're trying to learn tarot for the first time and you're like trying to remember what the images are or having to look them up in the book. Sometimes there's just a little number on there and then you have to look it up in the book if you can't remember, you know, what the image is and you're not sure of the representations yet. But I find that the way that the writing's been done on these, if we take a like closer look there, it's not invasive. It's not taking over the image at all. It's a nice font. It's not a block. Some like put like a block of white here and put the writing in there. And I find that kind of invasive on the imagery. And especially if you are an intuitive reader, then you're really looking into the images here. I mean, I don't really use the books because I go a lot from what I'm seeing in the card. So the colors, the imagery, any sacred geometry in there, what's, you know, the expression on the person, if there's people in the cards, what's that person doing, and really connecting with that energy. So if you're someone who also works intuitively like myself, or you're experienced with tarot, I personally, for me, don't find the writing invasive on the imagery. So that's so beautiful. I mean, look at this. There's such, I mean, look at the imagery in here. I mean, you have got everything. You've got sacred geometry. You've got a pentagram in here. You've got expressions and faces because everything is so detailed. So if you want to learn tarot and you want to learn to trust your intuition, if maybe you have learned from a traditional tarot and you now want to take your tarot practice further and you want to build on your intuition, so you're not relying on book meanings and sounding like, if you're someone who wants to do readings for other people, for me personally, I find where some readers go wrong is they learn with traditional tarot and they read all the book meanings of the tarot cards, and it's almost like learning words for a play, and then when that card comes up they spout back the meaning of the card to you, but that's not going to give a well-rounded reading for either yourself or a client if that's where you're looking to go with your tarot reading. So with this deck, it really gives you that opportunity to go into the colors, the symbols, really use your intuition and see what the card's telling you. So I love that. So that's the Pentacles. Let's not go through all of the Pentacles because I think if we go through the whole deck, it will just be the longest video ever to have happened. All right, let's start with some Swords now. So now we're in Swords. I love this image. Look at this again. What imagery. Let's come in close. Look at that. The artwork is absolutely stunning on these cards. Truly, truly stunning. And again, it's the having the writing there, it's really not invasive. It's not getting in the way. It's not drawing your eye, which for me is really important. If there's writing on a card, I don't want to pull cards and the first thing I do is look at the words that are on it. I don't want that to be where my eye is drawn. But there's so much depth in the imagery on here. Now, something about these particular tarot cards that I feel makes them really stand out, short of the art, which is absolutely glorious. This is truly beautiful artwork. I mean, look at that. So much in there to explore. These are an inclusive deck, and I mean properly inclusive. I don't mean they have thrown in one person of color in there and everyone else in the deck is white. This has truly got people of different ethnicities. It has men and women. Everyone is of different age groups, from children up to much, much older. And you really see that throughout this deck. And I love that. I love that the representation is so beautiful, and everyone is included. So it doesn't matter. You're not going to feel, oh, you know, like if you're a guy, got another, you know, stylized tarot deck and it's all women again, or if you're slightly older or you're slightly younger, it's really inclusive. And because of that, I feel that you get an even better read from the cards, because let's face it, when you're reading for yourself, you're getting older every year. If you're reading for other people, then you're going to be reading for, you know, who knows is going to come through the door, or an online reading, however it is you're reading. And there's really something to represent everyone's energy. So I feel with these cards, I've used them for journey work as well. And they really are well-rounded energetically. So let's skip through a few swords now and head into cups. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? I really, really adore this artwork. I cannot say enough, truly. I mean, look at his clothes, for example, in difference to... Where's the other man gone? Well, even this one, to be honest. They're dressed quite different. They're different ages. They're kind of representing different energies there in the card. It's completely different with each one. And I have a lot of people in my community and some students that are really trying to work on that balance with male female, and some men that also say to me, Claire, can you recommend a tarot deck that, you know, is going to be beautiful but is going to represent everyone. Everyone is really represented here. I mean, look at that. I mean, there's so much in them. And if you have been on my channel for a while, you know I'm not a fan of traditional tarot. For me, and I know this is a crime for some, but the Rider-Waite, I don't enjoy it. I don't. It's not. I've been reading for so many years now. I mean, I've had Goddess Enchantments for 14 years. It's going to be this year, I think. And I started it in 2006, and I was reading before that and collecting tarot before that. And it used to be that you would need to go the oracle route if you wanted something that could really let you read intuitively and have a lot of depth and also speak to you, you know, with the art and things like that. There wasn't as many decks back then. Everything was a lot more traditional, but now we're seeing more and more of these decks, and I'm loving the inclusivity in them as well. That is a beautiful card. I would like that as a print. Is that, oh my gosh, lavender, beautiful. I mean, real thought has gone into the art with these. As you start working with them and learning the meanings, let's go through into the next. Look at this one. So if you are new and you start learning the meanings, and then you start looking at the images, they've really thought about what's in the image. It's not artwork for artwork's sake. Occasionally I've bought decks where artists have perhaps had an artist portfolio for many, many years, and then they've pulled out that art and put it on individual cards, and that doesn't always work for me because the imagery doesn't match up with what that card is meant to mean, either in an oracle or in a tarot. But these are very, very precise, and obviously the art is made for the card. Look at that. And you can see it's quite modern as well, in the fact of like how the clothing people are wearing. But again, it's that wide range. You've got the very spiritual looking clothing. You've got that more kind of like younger clothing. Then you have, you know, I mean, so many. There's just so much depth to them, to be honest. I love this one. Look at that. I've been working with these for quite a while now, but as I'm sure you know, if you collect tarot and you read tarot, you know, you don't always, it's not like you're going to pull out every card all the time. So I still look at them now and I'm like, oh, I haven't pulled that card in a while, and how I love the imagery of it. Let's go through a few more. Look at that. Look at this with the sacred geometry. I mean, what a really beautiful representation of the world. And it's not your standard representation that you see in tarot cards, but you can still tell, even if it didn't have the writing. I feel that if you know tarot, you'd be able to tell what this card is. It's beautiful. I'll zoom through these a little bit so I'm not keeping you forever. So that's a little preview. Like I said, I like to leave some cards so that when you get the deck, you're going to be surprised, but you've seen enough to know if you like the artwork, if you like the style. Your book is your basic setup. So in the beginning of the, you've got a little bit of tarot basics. So if you're new, it's going to talk to you about the major and the minors and tell you about kind of tarot generally. Upright and reversals, which is pretty standard. How to connect with your cards, again, pretty standard in these books. Then you've got a couple of spreads. They're pretty basic spreads, which if you're new, then you're going to love. But they have put their own spin on them. They're not all same old, and they do explain them well as well, which I like. The book itself is black and white. This is how they're set out for your information. So the first thing you've got is the name of the card at the top. And then you've got kind of like keywords for that card. So light, seer, new beginnings, potential, adventures, enthusiasm, awakening, innocence, and optimism. And this is for the fall. Then we've got the shadow seer as well, because you get the light and the shadow seer for each of them. And then you get a description for the card. So an example for this one, I like to give at least one example so you can tell if you like the sound of the book or not. Every dream achieved begins with the seemingly foolish notion that there is something bigger out there, something greater to explore and to become. This childlike optimism comes from deep within your knowing, and it reminds you that you can achieve all the magical things that you've been dreaming about. The journey of the soul begins with a single step, and you may find yourself on the edge of an epic journey. Turn towards your future with enthusiasm and know that a divine leap of faith is required in order to claim the reward that the abyss is offering. You may not feel ready, you may not be ready, but there is magic in the air and the universe is waiting to support you with infinite love and guidance. Trust your intuition as you swan dive into the seed of potential. And then it gives you an affirmation. So the affirmation for this one is, I am ready for this adventure down my soul path, which I think is really nice. And the book's like that all the way through. Has it for all of the cards. Doesn't matter if they're minor or majors. You've got the same information for both. So a really nice accompanying book if you are new to tarot. A really nice read even if you're not new to tarot. I often I can be guilty sometimes of just being like, oh, the book. Put it back in the box, put it aside, and put the deck on the altar. But I actually had a really nice read of this book, and I think that the meanings are beautifully written. The affirmations are lovely, and there's something you can incorporate into your spiritual practice. And it's just got a bit of a different feel to it. It's a lot lighter, it's modern, it's inclusive, which I cannot stress enough how important that is, to see more in decks, more inclusivity, even down to basic male, female a lot of the times. Everything's so, divine, feminine, goddess based, which is great. But one, even as women, we have a masculine, feminine side, so we should be balancing that. But then we also have men as well that can sometimes feel a little bit, not included. And like I say, as well, with age, race, everything is completely inclusive in this deck. So I 100% recommend this tarot deck. It's one of the most exciting ones. Look at the sacred geometry there. It's one of the most exciting tarot decks I have got in a while. I've not done a review in a while because honestly, I just haven't felt inspired by some of the decks that I've tried, and I've not bought a ton of decks because I haven't found them inspiring. I was very blessed to come across this on Facebook, and the friend that had it was showing a few pictures, and I noticed it was the inclusivity that drew me in and the artwork, and I thought I have to get this deck, and I ordered it that day, and I have been loving working with it ever since. So if you are looking for beautiful artwork, inclusivity, and supporting that by buying this deck, and a good quality deck, good quality box, good quality cardstock, and a great book to boot, I honestly have nothing to complain about with this deck. Which is nice. Isn't it lovely to have such a positive, upbeat video where it's just all, I love it. So you can get this deck on Amazon, but I didn't get mine from Amazon. Where did I get mine? I don't remember, to be frank with you. I think I just Googled it and got it from the first place that came up in the UK. But there are plenty of places that do stock this deck. So as far as I'm aware, it's pretty easy to get. I saw it, I Googled it, and I was able to buy it instantly, but I'm pretty sure Amazon has it as of when I last checked about a week ago. But yeah, so this is the Light Seers Tarot, and I hope you have enjoyed this review, and maybe it has tempted you to treat yourself to a little bit something special for your own tarot collection. But that is it from me. Like I said, do come over and join my online Facebook community. We have a great group, no drama, it's so lovely. I do lots of lives in there, answer questions. They get videos that you guys don't see that are on YouTube in the files section. So there's a lot going on over there if you would like to come and join us. But if not, thank you for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me ever so much here on YouTube. And I will hopefully be back for another video very soon. Blessed be everyone.